Hi everybody, Mike Canales back again for our series on making a case for a developmental pathway. And today is the final part. Today's part is the CHFM Gap, the Certified Healthcare Facility Management Gap, which has been around for about 30 years. I earned my CHFM back in 2003, number 331. And at that time, I had to really study pretty hard for it after being a facility director for facilities for 4 years at that time. And I remember taking the exam. I did pretty well on it. I struggled in the plan and operations side because I came out of clinical engineering, but I still did pretty well overall on the exam. But it was foundational. This was a foundational certification. And the thing is that it really helped me fill in a few pieces and parts of the job and study some of the key areas like maintenance and operations, like I said, codes, compliance and regulations, PDC, administration. And again, it gave you sort of a foundational understanding. However, there was so much more that needed to be done. And a lot of folks, when you look at the CHFM as the pinnacle of arriving, in terms of a credential, most of you who have it, who've earned it, realize it's very, very much foundational. It's a foundational certification that really says you at least have a basic competency of the role in the job of FM. I knew when I took it, there was a lot to learn. I knew I just pretty much entered the opening of the industry and I needed to really learn a lot more. In fact, it's proved out I had to learn a lot more. One thing is, if you don't have a degree, you have to wait 10 years with experience before you can sit for this exam. So you go 10 years in a healthcare facilities. I think it meant to be management role, but maybe it's a healthcare role. I'm not sure how exactly they qualify it. But anyways, you're in the industry for 10 years before you sit for it. And the result of a 62% first-time fail rate is pretty extraordinary for being in the job for 10 years and for this being a foundational certification. Okay? That right there starts to expose the gap that is between when you get started in the industry and when you get to the CHFM. There's also a pretty low percentage of folks that have the CHFM that are facility managers in hospitals around the country. There's all other kind of healthcare, but I'm focusing on hospitals specifically. And so there's a pretty low percentage rate in terms of penetration rate of those in the industry. I estimate it at being at around or less than 20% after 30 years. There's also a growing number of folks with CHFM that are not even FMs at all. I mean, they're architects, engineers, consultants. They work as vendors that sell to the industry. And they've recognized the value of, quote, becoming part of the network by earning the CHFM. And so this, again, it's kind of a confusing thing because these folks haven't ever even worked in the industry as FMs, but yet they take the CHFM. And so that kind of tells you something. Maybe folks are just really good test takers, right? It does help to be a good test taker to take the CHFM. It also helps to have a really good memory, right? If you have a really good memory, you're also going to do better on the CHFM. But does it say you're a good FM? We all know the answer is no, it doesn't say that. There are some folks that are just not great test takers, or maybe they don't have the greatest memory per se, but they're really good FMs. It still makes it a very important credential for the industry. One thing about it, it establishes a commitment to ongoing education and development. I think that's one of the key things about any certification is it commits you to a profession, it commits you to ongoing education and ongoing development. But what this has done is it really has revealed this issue with a gap. What is going on between the beginning of when you entered the industry and when you earn this foundational certification, CHFM? In fact, what we're finding out is we need something to fill it. And I'm saying right now, a pathway, a intentional developmental pathway fills the gap. I have seen it now over and over again with the healthcare facilities program, how it really does that and how it really starts to broaden out and expose folks, not just to the content of CHFM, but also expands them into other areas. And then they desire to keep growing on the pathway. And they desire to keep growing and taking the journey further, which is what I think is one of the greatest things about a developmental pathway, is that the CHFM to me is something you get along the way. Just like CHFT, the Certified Healthcare Facility Technician, it's something you get early on to build on, to keep you moving forward and to keep advancing into the profession and advancing the profession. So that's it. This is these are my case points for making a developmental pathway. I hope you can appreciate the series and appreciate my heart of really wanting to raise the tide for the industry and transform the industry to be the profession that it really needs to be. With a great foundation, and we have a long way to go. There's things that are coming down the road that we can't even imagine just yet. They're going to impact this profession and this industry. Well, thanks a lot. I appreciate putting this together. I enjoyed putting this together. I hope you appreciated this. And I look forward to talking to you in the near future, or meeting you at a conference, or hopefully maybe even delivering a presentation somewhere near to you. Take care. Mike Canales signing off.